Happy Pride Month, everyone, and welcome to the new Explore St. Louis Outlook, powered by Vital Voice.
As most of us know, June is National Pride Month, and we here in St. Louis have a lot to be proud of. Long before marriage equality passed in 2016, St. Louis City passed ordinances to protect our community, and we've always been at the forefront of equality.
One of the things that amazes me about St. Louis is that people think it's a flyover city. You don't think about it often, but where else in the Midwest will you be able to find 4 Pride festivals in just the month of June?
Pride Fest began in St. Louis in 1979. The inaugural event was sponsored by the Magnolia Committee, named after the street where most of the community lived and played. By the end of the week, hundreds gathered for the Lesbians and Gays Walk for Charity. Went down Lindell Boulevard in the Central West End, all the way to Washington University's campus.
This year marks the 40th anniversary of Pride Fest in St. Louis, and we caught up with the Grand Parade Director herself, Jolene Gosha, to find out what we can expect.
Someone coming in from out of town visiting Pride St. Louis for the first time will experience community with 300,000 other attendees and top-notch entertainment.
Our trans community is really important in St. Louis, and this year it is most important that we acknowledge in 1969 it was drag queens and trans women of color that fought back against police who performed a raid on the Stonewall Inn.
My goal this year is to put the trans community up front and have a trans community focused Grand Marshal, because after all, they are who started the movement.
I will never forget my first Pride Festival. I think it's right when it moved down to Tower Grove Park. But hey, Jolene, what was your favorite Pride experience?
The best experience I had in my first Pride Fest was looking out from behind the stage at all of the young adults and kids just enjoying Pride Fest and being who they are.
For more information on Pride Fest St. Louis, visit their website at pridestl.org.
As I stand here in the beautiful St. Louis Art Museum in Forest Park, I'm reminded of the rich history of festivals in our city, like the 1904 World's Fair. You know, Pride Fest wasn't always downtown. In the 1980s and 90s, it was in the Central West End and right here in Forest Park. By the late 90s, Pride Fest moved to Tower Grove Park. And now that tradition of Pride in the Park continues with Tower Grove Pride.
Tower Grove Pride was founded just by a small group of folks who wanted to see there remain some sort of a gay celebration down in the Tower Grove neighborhoods in South St. Louis. We started off in a back alley, actually, off of a parking lot with a few entertainers and a few vendors, and through the years we just continued to grow, and the feedback has been tremendous.
Everyone should be proud of their sexuality and self-identity. But why is it important to continue the tradition of Tower Grove Pride?
Tower Grove Pride is kind of rooted in a community where the gay scene has really thrived through the years, where a lot of gay people live, gay people are employed. And so in 2013 there was sort of this really reorganizing and shifting and just thinking hard and long about how we wanted to celebrate ourselves in our community.
Hey Michael, what do you like about St. Louis?
If you are somebody who wants to be themselves and wants to find a community that's going to allow you to be yourself, St. Louis is a place for that.
To celebrate Pride in the Park, check out Tower Grove Pride on Facebook.
As we mentioned before, there are many Pride celebrations throughout our region. Known as Small Town America, our sister cities over in Metro East have developed their own Pride celebration.
Metro East Pride is a nonprofit organization in Belleville, Illinois. We help to unify the LGBT community and allied communities around us, educating and bringing visibility to the LGBT community. We want everybody to be able to bring their family and friends over, their kids' age ranges, toddler on up, and everybody feel welcome and at home and comfortable celebrating their pride, being proud of who they are.
To get involved with Metro East Pride, visit their website at metroeastprideswi.org. From Metro East Illinois all the way out west, the newcomer to the block is St. Charles Pride.
Pride St. Charles is a passion project of a group of people. We were the actual chapter project of St. Charles P. Flag. In November of 2016, we became our own 501c3 nonprofit organization. We knew we had to make our festival community and family friendly so that it would be appealing to those movable middle individuals that didn't really know a lot about the LGBTQ community. We wanted to make sure that our community became a very open and accepting community that it was not.
For more information on St. Charles Pride, check out their website at pridestcharles.org. Even though marriage equality has passed nationally, we as a community still have a lot of work to do. Did you know in the state of Missouri you can still be fired just for being gay? You can also be denied housing based on your sexual orientation or gender identity. That's why we have an amazing nonprofit organization called Promo who fights for us each and every day. Take a look.
Promo is Missouri's statewide LGBTQ advocacy organization. We work to both change hearts and minds and make sure that LGBTQ people are protected equally under the law. Most of the laws in the state and most municipalities don't protect LGBTQ people from discrimination. So we work in places like Jefferson City statewide, as well as cities and counties all across the state to make sure that people have protections so they can't be fired from their jobs, denied housing, or refused public services just because they're LGBTQ.
Can you imagine just living your life each and every day and all of a sudden you're fired because you're gay? Or you move to a town and you cannot find an apartment because of your gender identity? Well, St. Louis has always been a leader when it comes to equality.
So the city of St. Louis has been a huge leader when it comes to LGBTQ equality, and St. Louis County has really followed in that in a lot of ways. Before we had marriage equality across the country and in Missouri, we had 3 court cases. One of them specifically started to get marriage equality in the state of Missouri because of the mayor of St. Louis.
As we all work together to ensure equality across our state, what is the future of Promo?
When we look at the future of what it looks like for LGBTQ people, right now we're in a place where we can still be fired from our jobs just because we're LGBTQ. Even though St. Louis City has protections and some places in the county have protections, we don't have that on a statewide level, we don't have that on a federal level, and so we definitely need to have those protections. But that is not the end. We know that we're still going to be on the defense. We know that there will still be people who will be taking things away from us. And we need to make sure that we're holding that line. And so we need to make sure that we're taking care of LGBTQ people at all levels and of all ages.
To get involved or simply learn more about Promo, visit their website, promoonline.org.
While most Americans are accepting of gays and lesbians, it's our trans brothers and sisters who need our support now more than ever. That is why we are so fortunate here in St. Louis to have Metro Trans Umbrella Group, leading that narrative and promoting advocacy in our community.
The Metro Trans Umbrella Group is a grassroots organization built to create power and social emotional support for trans expansive adults in the metro area. When MTUG first started to establish roots, so much of what we were doing was getting folks to that self-actualization phase, right, of development. But then as MTUG grew, really understanding the depth of some of the disparities in our community, specifically with trans women of color in particular, not being at that place of self-actualization, but more so being on that place of needing their basic needs met. We're feeding our own people, we're clothing our own people, we're providing bus passes and cell phones. We are creating systems where there are none in place.
Did you know that the first ever trans memorial garden in the United States is right here in St. Louis? Many members of the LGBTQIA community came together to make this happen. We'll let Sayer explain more.
Our transgender memorial garden is the first of its kind in the United States. We collectively carved out this little pizza slice of rocky, dilapidated ground over on the cornerstone of the grove. We got involved with a master gardener named Monty and a few other trans folks and made a beautiful place that is full of hope and sorrow, both. I think it's a place for us to mourn and grieve our dead and see hope all around us.
With all the media talking about the trans community, how important is trans visibility?
So I think the evolution of public figures, public transgender figures, is similar to that of public lesbian and gay figures 20 years ago. Vital initially, absolutely. Seeing yourself reflected, having possibility models, so important. And we're being spoon-fed a narrative that is not obtainable to most trans folks. We need jobs, we need affordable, affirming housing, we need our basic needs met. Many trans expansive folks are still down here on the hierarchy of needs. We need self-actualization, and the only way that we're gonna get that, other than our own hard work, is through the help of our allies. And I'm gonna preface that with our lesbian and gay allies front and center, our bisexual siblings right behind, then the straight folks. But it's time to do that.
Sayer is spot on. It does take each and every one of us to continue to push for full equality for our entire LGBTQIA community. To get involved and to learn more about MTUG, check out their website. Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning in, and a big thank you to Explore St. Louis and Vital Voice for bringing this new format of LGBTQIA media.
And a super special thank you to the St. Louis Art Museum, who have housed us and allowed us to shoot this inaugural episode on their beautiful campus here. Be sure and check out the Art Museum in St. Louis. It's free and it's amazing. But, Kristen, on the next episode, we are going to take a look at the art and culture of our community. So until next time, Happy Pride!